Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I decided that I wanted to try modding this keyboard a little bit more because what I currently have right now is not bad, but I was wondering if I can go from the higher pitch sound that I currently have with my keyboard to a little bit more of a lower pitch sound. I'm curious to see if there is a way that I can achieve that without having to switch out the actual key switches. You see, a lot of the builds that I see that obtain the deeper sounding pitch keyboards require you to change the switches. I'm lazy and I don't want to do that, but what I am willing to do is to at least change the keys and some of the modifications inside the keyboard to attain that. First though, let me go ahead and show you how it sounds now before I make any of the modifications. So let's go ahead and do a typing test real quick. Not so bad. A lot of the things that needs to be done, the hard parts, are pretty much already done. So there's not much that I personally need to do. So what I have are a couple things. I have a car dampening foam. That's probably not the actual wordage, but as you can see, I've already used a piece from the last video where I used it in my sister's keyboard. I don't know if that will actually help me achieve that lower pitch sound with my keyboard. I may actually need to remove the foam altogether, but that's one. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use this PE foam. One of the things that a lot of people liked the sound of are the so-called creamy sounds. I can't really describe the sound, as sound inherently is very difficult to describe. But you see, what people found out was that the secret behind that was a layer of PE foam between the PCB and the plate. So I'm curious to see how much of a difference that will make when I do add this PE foam in between. That's the second one. So I have some keycaps from Drop. They are of the MT3 profiles. They are supposedly a much nicer typing experience. You see, the reason why I got these keycaps is because they're also a little bit taller. With the thickness of the keycaps along with the hollowness of them, they should help provide that deep low pitch sound that I am looking for. As you can see, it looks pretty nice, and you can tell just from, well, I don't know how far I need to put it out, but it is pretty, they are really tall. So let's see how they end up looking on my keyboard. But first, let's do a few things. I think that looks much better. So I'm realizing now that I didn't record any of that because I forgot to turn on one part of it. So I've taken the board apart, and if you can see over here, perhaps, there's already foam in between, and it's pretty thick foam. We're going to go ahead and see what happens when I go ahead and replace whatever's in between those two things. Which also means that I will have to take out the switches.
Hey, voiceover balance here. So for this, I wanted to take out the plate foam that sits between the plate and the PCB and replace it with the PE foam that I got earlier to get more of that deeper hollow sound. This is something that was discovered by the Jelly Epoch from the Owl Labs, I believe. And I got this PE foam from Keyboard Custom. This one was really nice because it cut out all of the little pieces ahead of time and even the little spaces for the LEDs so it could shine through it. Over here, I am taking the stabilizers out so that I can actually fit the PE foam in. It was a little weird at first since I've never handled them before, but I managed to figure it out. So with that out of the way, I wanted to see how it would sound with just that one change. So after I put the keyboard all back together, I went ahead and just put in a few of the keys, just enough for a normal typing test. So with that said, here's how it sounds. Next was to put in the dampener foam. However, I quickly found out that this one that I got wouldn't fit, so I had to throw this one out. I don't show it precisely in here, but I put in the Kilmat foam right there. I also did the Tempest mod, which is also known as the tape mod. When paired with the PE foam, it helps deter sound from traveling past the PCB and prevent a hollow sound. So that tapping that I'm doing right there was to demonstrate how there is a little bit of that ping from the case. What I forgot to do was show myself recording myself doing the force break mod, which is where I add a little bit of tape right at certain parts of the seams of the case and the bottom case so that it prevents the metal ping when typing. So now this time, I figured if I really wanted that deeper hollow sound, I actually needed to get rid of the Kilmat dampener. So I took that out and I went ahead to take these stabilizers out and clean them of the lube that was already added in from Keychron in the factory. The reason why I'm doing this is to do the next mod that I've been wanting to do, which is the Holee Mod. What this particular mod does is reduce the rattling noise the stabilizer bar creates when pressing the keys that uses this particular stabilizer. This is done by using a fabric band-aid and placing it inside the stabilizer insert to cushion the metal bar. This was a little difficult for me, honestly, because they're such small pieces. After a while, I managed to get it to work, but I did notice that it was a little mushy on some of these keys. Yeah, I pounded on that spacebar because I was honestly getting really frustrated and I could not figure out what was going on.
The biggest reason why it was sounding weird is because I didn't have the stabilizers clipped in all the way. They were just partially in there, so it was kind of sticking outwards. Because now, it doesn't feel squishy anymore.
Alright, with that said, I hope you enjoyed my little video on my particular keyboard, and hopefully the next video won't take so long to make. With that said, please go ahead and subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you want. Thanks again everyone, and I'll see you next time. See ya!